Peppa Pig is that show where everything always ends perfectly, everything always works out, and everyone falls to the ground laughing. But what if I told you that all the characters in the show are actually being manipulated and filmed against their will by another character? Would you believe it?
You can be on TV every day!
Furthermore, they are part of a show broadcasted worldwide without even knowing it. In addition, there are strong signs that Miss Rabbit might be behind all of this, and she doesn't have multiple jobs, but only one, deceiving all of us. This would make her the most evil character in the entire Peppa Pig series. So, join us as another Cinewave begins. For many years, Peppa Pig followed as an animated series with its seasons released over time. However, in Season 6, released in 2019, something very strange happens in the 20th episode called TV Land. The entire pig family, along with Emily and Edmund Elephant, are gathered watching the Super Potato Show. At this moment, we see that even Peppa and George's mom knows all the words to the Talking Vegetables song. Daddy Pig then comments that this is because the same show airs the same way every day at the same times and nothing ever changes. And it's very important that you remember this phrase, because it is the key to understanding everything behind Miss Rabbit's possible plan. After this dialogue, Daddy Pig decides to take everyone to the studio where the Super Potato Show was recorded so the children can understand how such tiny people fit in a TV. When they arrive, we discover that the entire place is managed by none other than Miss Rabbit. She is the coordinator and director of the entire Super Potato TV show, and the one responsible for starting and ending the recordings. Miss Rabbit then asks if any of the children would like to appear on TV, and Peppa says she would. This is exactly the moment we see the emergence of something Miss Rabbit would start doing for the next few years.
We're ready for you now, Super Potato!
The show must go on.
After Peppa offers to appear on TV, we see Miss Rabbit telling her to say whatever she wants, so the little piggy introduces each member of her family, and in the end, they all laugh and fall to the ground. The detail is that this is exactly the same opening present in over 300 episodes of the Peppa series, exactly as it was recorded by Miss Rabbit's team and used for the last 20 years since the Pink Piggy show was created in 2004. Everything is exactly the same. The blue background, which we imagined was the sky, and the green ground, which we thought was grass, are all actually pieces of a TV set. On this day that the pig family went to the studio, Miss Rabbit had the brilliant idea to start a new TV show different from Super Potato, which always repeated the same things. Now she would start a show with a different story in each episode, with even different characters and themes. More than that, she wouldn't need to create scripts and hire actors, since the town's people, along with the pig family, would be the cast of her new show. Thus, the director created Peppa's show, which has been broadcast since then. However, this is very wrong since Peppa and her family probably don't even realize they are in a TV show. Therefore, Miss Rabbit records the episodes and then airs them. And since she controls the TV signal transmission, she only needs to not broadcast the show to the Pink Piggy's town TVs, so no one discovers her plan. Now, if you, like me, think this is one of the creepiest things in a cartoon, comment below, #scared. Besides being scared of everything Miss Rabbit might have done, we can conclude that the entire show is secretly recorded. Even though it's surprising that the pig family had a TV show all this time, we wouldn't say Miss Rabbit is evil for that reason. After all, she would have made the proposal, and Peppa and her relatives would be aware that they are part of a TV show. Only we, the viewers, wouldn't know everything here was staged. The problem is that everything indicates that no one in town, outside those working in the studio with Miss Rabbit, knows they are being filmed for a show. The clearest evidence of this is that every time a Peppa episode starts, we first see the location where the characters are, and then the image slowly zooms in on the window of the building where the episode will take place, which is usually Peppa's house or her school. Most episodes start exactly this way. This indicates that someone outside is filming everyone inside, always using a window to go unnoticed. Interestingly, Miss Rabbit's way of doing things means there wouldn't be a script for the episodes, as they would portray what happens in Peppa's daily life, and thus they would never be repetitive since no day is like the other. This solves the problem Daddy and Mommy Pig identified when they commented at the beginning of the TV Land episode that the Super Potato Show was always the same and repetitive. Thus, we can actually say that Miss Rabbit never had more than 100 jobs, but only one, being the director of the Peppa series, which the little piggy herself doesn't even know exists. Hold on, you'll understand better now because we're going to explain Miss Rabbit. Undoubtedly, one of the most intriguing things in the Peppa Pig universe has always been a person, Miss Rabbit. The most mysterious thing of all is how one person can have more than 100 different jobs simultaneously, and yet still have a social life participating in festivals and fairs that occasionally happen in the Pink Piggy's town. Have you ever stopped to think that even in a fantasy world, this would be completely impossible? What would explain this very well is the fact that actually, since it's a TV show, Miss Rabbit would be one of the actresses and, as the show's director, she would cast herself in in various roles to avoid hiring actors for small parts. This would greatly facilitate the creation of the show, and since it seems the inhabitants of Peppa's town aren't very bright, they wouldn't realize this, truly believing Miss Rabbit has over 100 different jobs, which in reality is impossible. All this would make the character's plan to create a hidden show with all the town's inhabitants totally possible, and more than that, a great success. After all, this is the job of a series and film director. The problem is that Miss Rabbit wouldn't pay anyone for their roles since they have no idea they're being filmed, and only she and some studio staff and a few hired actors would know this immoral plan is underway in Peppa Pig's town. Even though the people in Peppa's town are a bit clueless and don't realize Miss Rabbit's entire plan, we know you aren't. That's why I know if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, you'll do it right now.
Don't stop clapping!
As we mentioned, within this hidden plan by the character behind everything, there are some actors who also know and are part of the show. For example, the most famous of all would be Super Potato, who in reality is also Mr. Potato, confirming that the character is the same person. You might be thinking, this is impossible, since they have been seen together and Super Potato has superpowers. Yes, all of this is true, but the fact is that in reality, all of this is part of the show and Miss Rabbit's plan. It involves a combination of special effects, actors, and stunt doubles, all orchestrated by the show's director, and we can prove it. During the TV Land episode, we see that a recording is underway in the studio, which is exactly of Super Potato, so much so that we see the character testing his voice and reading a script. But if we go back a bit earlier, when the kids are watching the show, we see that on the TV screen, Super Potato is apparently flying in the clouds. However, how is it possible for him to do this, since what exists behind him is just a small blue screen that is part of the set? Simple. In reality, it's all just TV special effects, thus making Mr. Potato and Super Potato characters played by the same TV actor. This would also explain why Miss Rabbit would receive a medal from the Queen for her intense work. In fact, that lady was probably not really the Queen of England, but an actress hired by Miss Rabbit to play the sovereign.
This is all some kind of whacked-out conspiracy.
This way, the studio director's plan has been working since then. And if you still doubt that all this might be true, at the end of the TV Land episode, the character herself ends up revealing her plan when she states that Peppa can be on TV every day. More than that, she says they will be on hundreds and hundreds of times.
Hundreds and hundreds of times!
This makes it clear that it was actually the first day of Peppa's show, and all the hundreds of episodes released to this day were recorded after that day. And the scariest part of all this is that Miss Rabbit knows it's not that hard to use TV to manipulate people's minds. Remember that at the beginning, Mommy Pig realized that she knew the song? That was the result of her hearing the same message every day while the kids watch their children's shows. Similarly, in a very sinister way, we see that Mommy Sheep is also seen singing the same song without realizing it, making it clear the great power TV shows have on people's minds. This shows how Miss Rabbit knows very well how to manipulate everything, so that everyone works on her show, even if they don't know it. Once I noticed this detail about Miss Rabbit, I could never look at her the same way again. But you know what never changes? Our videos, which continue to be made for animation and cartoon fans. We have 2 really cool videos for you to check out right now if you want. Just choose which one you want to watch first. Have fun, and see you next time.